Okay, I wanted to do a quick tutorial on how you can use IXL to see what your students are doing over the summer. So I logged in as Emily, and so when the screen opens up, it shows the recommendations. They should have all taken the diagnostic test, and these are all of the suggestions for the areas that need improvement. Everybody has a list this long. The other thing is that as they continually work, they can keep doing the diagnostic to help them to improve their skills. So you'll notice up here at the top, it says 5 suggestions from your teacher. Both the 6th and the 7th graders, I have posted 4 different things that I want them to do, exercises, before they come this week if possible. So Emily went through 3 of them. It took her maybe 20 minutes to get through it. And then for everyone also, it's keep your real-time diagnostic up to date. So although they took the longer one, periodically they need to go back into that diagnostic and go through the work in order to keep improving. So the way I'm structuring the class is there will be like 4 of these that will be homework. So you're starting out with this before they actually come. I'm going to use the 7th grade objectives and go through like we're going through integers, we're going through decimals the following week, and then we're going to hit hard fractions and algebra because that's where most people scored the lowest. So I'm kind of going through them, and so it'll be a combination of here's what you're doing for homework, then you come in and we work on a set of these, and then you go home and you work on a set of these. In between, they need to also be working on these skills. And part of that reason for working on the skills, as well as going through most of the kids who have taken the diagnostic so far have ranged anywhere from, I think the highest was in the 7th grade level. The lowest has been some of these 3rd or 4th. Emily for that one was 3rd to 4th grade. She told me she totally bombed that test, which makes sense. Measurement she's struggling in, fractions, algebra. So she's between overall a 6th to late 6th grade level. First time she took it before she did any practice, she was at 630. I made her do some of the practice, and so that brought it up to 670. So they actually can see their scores improving and their grade level going up. So if you click analytics like I just did, so like when you're on the screen, learning is going to be the recommendations. Diagnostic is the results of that test that they took, which tells you what levels they are on each of these and the plan. So like if I click on her diagnostic plan, not that I really need a printable, but it gives you an idea of what areas they're weak, what areas they are strong. And so tells you kind of the recommendations on the things they need to work on. And they have that every time that they go into the IXL math. If you click on analytics, analytics is going to show you what they've been doing. So I've got usage. So I've had this for 30 days for her. It tells me how long she's worked and what skills. So we've kind of laxed in between. So yesterday she did some more. But when you're talking about the skills that she just did, she's done 3 of those that I assigned yesterday. So she spent 5 minutes, 9 minutes, and 7 minutes on those skills. The goal is to get an 80% or higher. The ideal would be to get a score of 100 because the 100 is actually a lot of the more difficult questions as opposed to some of the earlier questions. So if you want to see how much time they've been spending on it, whether or not they've done the different things that I assigned, this is where it will show. I can go back every single time that she went through and see what she practiced. I can also go up here and look for trouble spots, and it tells me the questions that she's been missing that she might need to review. So these are the 3 types that she's struggling with the pictographs, and so they can work on that. If I click on scores, it gives her performance from what we've covered so far, and what practice she's done, what score the 3 I just gave, what her percentage was, how long she spent on it. So you have access to all of this. And what I'm doing, basically, these skills that they're showing, these are the ones that we're going through. So we're going to go through 7, 9. There's a bunch of these that we are going to go through. And then I am going to keep track of who's done what. And when they complete a skill, like I'll take off for her these 3 that she has already done, so she doesn't keep having a long list. So there's 4 now. There'll be 5 or 7 that we go through during class, and then there'll be 4 more for homework. If they've done the 4 that they were supposed to, then when I look at it at the end of the week, I will take off those 4 for their to-do list. If they've been gone that week, then you'll have the full list of what ones we covered, and you can choose as far as having them work. How much time they spend is up to you. Math is a skill that has to be practiced. And like I said in the other video, I made Emily do Kumon when I was teaching there, and she took the diagnostic and they put her back at addition and subtraction. And it wasn't that she didn't know how to do the math in her level, she wasn't fast enough with the basics. And I think that's what happens. They do 1 or 2 assignments and then they move on, and they never really master any of it. They have bits and pieces, but they haven't put it together. So going through and making them do the skills, as well as having them go through and practice the new, will help them to develop and to keep developing. So progress on here, I haven't played with all of this myself, but so it shows the skills she's completed. It shows, multiplication. All of them need to do drills on some of these, but it shows the 7th grade ones that she's gone through that I've assigned, and some of the 8th grade ones. So you can keep track. I would love to say that I can make everybody do this, but as we all know as parents, basically Emily a lot of times gets kind of bribed for that, and I will offer, if you get your math done, then we'll go to Starbucks and I'll buy you Starbucks, or if you get your math done, that I will take her to get a Blizzard, whatever it takes. But that is kind of up to you. I was going to show you that I can also see the same thing. So if I look at student details, and let me pull up Emily, it's going to go alphabetical order, but I'm going to go down to, so, and there's my side, what it showed for you as a parent. It shows me and what their scores are. So it allows me to see who's worked on what, and to see if they've completed or not. So I can go through each of the students before we start or at the end of the week and see who's done the 4 that I suggested that they do. And then I'll take those off. So they'll go off of their recommended list. If they start having 15, 20 on the recommended list, that means they're not doing the work. So, if you could track them, I'll kind of keep track as far as adding on new skills you're supposed to be practiced and taking off the ones that they've practiced, but I'm not going to send out emails saying this is what they've done, this is what they haven't done. It'll kind of be our jobs as parents to monitor what they do. And, there are times that with the school year, skipped, but starting with the summer, I'm going to be a little more consistent about wanting her to do 5 days, do 15 to 20 minutes for 5 days during a week. And if I can get her up to 20 minutes a day, that's at least 100 minutes. I know Visitation makes their students do it every week for 200 minutes. So periodically, if they have not done it for a while, they can go back and get re-diagnosed. But you have this whole program for the year. So even after we're done in the summer, you can keep them working and taking the diagnostic and keep moving up levels to get them up to where they're supposed to be. If it says 400, they're at the 4th grade level. If it's 500, they're at the 5th grade level, and so on. So you can see where your own child is and encourage them to keep working. There's awards they can win when they do this. There's things that they can achieve, or you can set that yourself. But I think for most of us, it's making them sit down and do the practice. And this is kind of the way that you can track that. So let me know if you have any questions.